Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss Bangalore University BBA 6th semester, subject Strategic Management. So in this subject we will be discussing on unit number 5, Strategic Evaluation. In unit number 5 we will be discussing session number 55, evaluation techniques. It is a continued part of session number 54. So as it is continued part, in 54 also we had a discussion on evaluation techniques. So we discussed there internal evaluation techniques, and we had a discussion on comparative evaluation techniques. Now we are going to discuss on the third important evaluation technique, that is comprehensive analysis. Dear students, as you are aware that this analysis adopts a total approach rather than focusing on one area of activity or a function or department. See, in the earlier analysis we had seen they would have concentrated either on qualitative aspect or quantitative aspects or department wise, activity wise. But here in comprehensive analysis we could see the overall analysis. The overall organization is considered as one unit and the analysis is done in terms of the various activities involved. Comprehensive analysis make use of 4 important techniques to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of the organization. These 4 techniques of analysis are: first one, balanced scorecard method; second one, the key factor rating method; third one, management by objectives method; fourth one, memorandum of understanding method. Let us discuss one by one. What is this balanced scorecard method? This method is used and it is based on identification of 4 key performance measures. 4 key performance measures, they are customer perspective, internal business perspective, innovation and learning perspective, and the financial perspective. It considers 4 important scorecard links of performance and its measures: customer, internal, innovation, financial. These are the 4 areas or perspectives that it concentrates, and try to answer some questions, self-generated questions, in terms of customer perspective, in terms of internal perspective, in terms of innovation perspective, and in terms of financial perspective. This method is balanced approach to performance measurement, as a range of parameters are taken into account for evaluation. Let us discuss the first parameter of performance measurement used in balanced scorecard, that is the customer's perspective. In this balanced scorecard method, what is organization in the eyes of customer is judged here. It is linked with the performance of the organization here, and the various activities involved in performance of activities are linked here. What you measure is what you get. Here the company is going to ask the question, how do your customers see you? How do the customers see us? In terms of what? In terms of regularly supply of material, regularly supply of qualitative material, regularly giving the sales after services, performance of the product over the years. What is the customer's perspective about the cost and price of the product? All these areas like time of the product, the quality of the product, the performance of the product, the service of the product and the cost of the product are the various areas where customer sees. Company look into the angle of customers here. Customers expect lot of things from us. They expect that the product should be produced in time, the product should be supplied in time. That means regular supply. Whether the company is doing this or not, balancing now, giving scores. Whether the company is producing and supplying the product in time or not, judging, evaluating. Whether the company is producing the product as per the qualitative attributes expected by the customers or not, in terms of its design, in terms of its usage, in terms of its durability, in terms of its uses, performance of the products. Will there be any repairs and maintenance time and again, or the product is durable in nature? Sales after service of the product, whether the company is able to provide good services after sales or not, and the price of the product, the cost price of the product, whether the customers are willing to purchase this product with that much of price or not. These are the key areas where the company need to question itself and try to answer itself to balance the performance with that of the measurements, with that of the criterias. The second perspective is internal perspective. Analyzing here about the company's strengths, asking the question, what must we excel at? In which areas we need to excel? In which area we need to become more stronger? Or which are the areas where we are stronger now? Asking these questions and trying to find out the answers for this. Internal perspective. And what are the areas to find out the answers for this? Are cycle time, that is production cycle. What is the time taken to convert raw materials into finished goods? Cycle time. What is the time taken to convert cash into cash? What is the time taken to convert raw material into finished goods? What is the cycle required to convert raw material into finished goods per unit of products? Then whether the products are qualitative in nature or not. Internally we are having a good quality assurance, quality circles. Are we matching with the quality standards laid down by the quality standards of our country, quality standards at the international level of our product? See, the quality standards laid down for different products are different in different countries. For textiles, quality standards are different. For groceries, quality standards are different. For iron and steel products, the quality standards are different. For valuable metals like gold, silver, copper, diamond, platinum, quality standards are different. For agricultural products, quality standards are different. So whether the company is matching the quality standards with the established standards, judging here in this internal perspective, internally how we are we excellent, have we created quality circles, and what is the work of these quality circles? What is quality here? See, most of the people, they may think that quality means good product. No, definitely not. When we look into the meaning of quality, quality means usefulness. Usefulness. Whether the product is useful to the ultimate consumer or not. So in this aspect, while internal perspective, judging of internal perspective, checking out whether we have developed quality circles and what is the work of these quality circles. Are we following TQM, Total Quality Management? TQM stands for Total Quality Management. Finding out answers to this and try to balance them. Then employee skills. Internally our employees are skillful or not. They require further training and facilities. Further, do they require any demonstrations? Further, they require any vestibule training, on the job or off the job training for performance of their duties or not? And about the productivity, are we matching the productivity level, maximum level, minimum level, optimum level, and converting the stock into finished goods stock of raw material into work in progress into finished goods? All these questions need to be asked. All these factors are to be considered while we are asking questions in terms of internal perspective. Internally, how strong we are, how excellent we are is a question here. The third perspective is innovation learning perspective. So here the company try to study and analyze its technological processes, its innovation processes, or it tries to analyze and find out what are the technological innovations we are adopting now. Do we require any improvement and learn more? Because technology is ever changing now. There was a time when Euro 1 engines were there. Now Euro 2, Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 5 engines have come up. Technology is changing very fast. You can see, depending upon the needs, it is rightly said that necessity is the mother of invention. Lot of invention, discoveries, new attributes are added through innovation. Adding new attributes is innovation. Finding completely new is invention. See, depending upon the needs and wants of customers, new technology is being improved. See, there was a time when we were just talking about theoretical aspect about computers, laptops and all. Now it has become a need of the hour. Android phone, touchscreen phones, need of the hour. Again in that, there are some default technologies. See, today's Android phones are playing the role of a laptop, more than laptop and computer. At your fingertips, you can make use of this technology in whatever the field you are. Relating to your field, you can make use of these types of technological equipments. Machineries, the way machineries were earlier working, again it has changed. Flexible manufacturing system, artificial intelligence system, executive support system, ESS, AIS, FMS, all these are the examples of latest technologies, technological improvements being made. See, innovation is very much required to adapt to make some changes, either in the product or in the usage of the product or in the design of the product. In whatever way the company want to add some new features. The essence of innovation arises when the company does the reaches its product life cycle at the saturation level. Before the decline stage, the company will find out why the sales have become constant. What is the reason that sales have not increased? So all these questions rises. So at the before decline stage, the role of innovation can be seen here and it can be exercised here, adding some new features. Most of the companies are doing the same thing. Learning from past bitter experiences. Company want to create and improve value. If it want to create and improve value, it needs to innovate and it needs to learn. It should ask, can we continue to improve and create value? Then it will find out in terms of its innovation, in terms of its improvement, in terms of its learning. Then the fourth important perspective is financial perspective. Here the company asks questions itself. How do we look to the shareholders? Financial perspective. How do we look to the shareholders, to our interested parties? Then it will have to study about its profitability, its growth and shareholders' value. Our profitability is increasing or decreasing. So what will be the opinion of shareholders then? We are growing or not growing over the years. What is the opinion of shareholders then? Then what is the shareholders' value? The value of the company in front of shareholders. So in terms of wealth maximization, in terms of increasing the profitability, in terms of growth, we have to analyze this financial perspective. Dear students, there are 4 important perspectives in balanced scorecard method. Each one are questioned, each one are studied in detail to bring the balance between the performance, to link between the performance and the actual reality of the company, the performance of the company and these questions. imagination of these things, then actually linking those things with that of the performance of the company. The second important comprehensive analysis is key factor analysis. So this key factor analysis is a method that takes into account the key factors in several areas and then sets out to evaluate the performance on the basis of these. This is quite comprehensive method and it takes a holistic approach in terms of performance areas in the organization. It takes into account the key factors of the organization. It could be financial factor, it could be human resource factor, it could be marketing factor, it could be operations factor, it could be general management factor. These are the 5 key factors in the organization. It evaluates the performances of these 5 factors and rate them. Which factor is performing better and which factor needs betterment or even better performance in future, and what strategies to be made. See, this key factor rating identifies the key factors of the organization. As I told you, there are 5 major areas where the organization need to concentrate in this key factor rating. First one is financial capability profile. It is financial aspect. Here rates are being given, here the study is being done, assessment is being done, evaluation is being done on sources of funds. What are the sources of funds? What are the areas where the company is going to get funds from? Sources of funds. Then how the company is using the funds, usage of funds. Then management of funds, how the company is managing the funds. What are the loopholes in sources of funds, usage of funds and management of funds. Key factor rating. In sources of funds, we can see it is one of the important decisions of finance department, that is financing decision. Here the finance manager try to raise the funds required for the running of the organization, the funds required for the establishment of the setup, machineries and all, through various sources. He or she try to mix the capital required, capital mix, with debt as well as equity, fixed interest bearing as well as dividend bearing. Depending upon the earnings per share, cost of capital, decision is taken here. Leverage analysis is done. For collecting of funds. Leverage analysis are done. Operating leverage, financial leverage and combined leverage. Then earnings per share analysis is done. Later on, depending upon the cost of issue or float, a particular source of finance is identified, source of funds are identified. Then for the purpose of usage of funds, what is the capability profile of the company? And here in the first point, sources of funds, the finance manager and its capabilities are judged here. He is going to take the decision which source of finance is best suited to the company, depending upon the availability of the source, depending upon the terms and conditions on the source, depending upon the RBI policies on the source, depending upon the interest factors in the market, depending upon the tax percentage in the market, depending upon the dividends identified, depending upon the profitability. All these things matters for the selection of a proper source. Then how these collected funds are used? Somebody's funds need to be used properly. That comes under financial perspective, financial capability profile of the company. Key factor. Again, investment decisions. Here the funds collected need to be invested properly. This decision need to be taken whether the finance manager has taken a proper decision or not regarding that is to be assessed. Whether he has adopted structured formal techniques before investment on any projects, whether they are individual projects or mutually exclusive projects, whether he has applied traditional techniques of evaluation or modern techniques of evaluation like payback period, average rate of return, net present value, internal rate of return, profitability index, capital rationing, etc. Here usage of fund becomes important financial capability profile of the organization. How best they are making use of the organization, because if investment is made wrong, the company is accountable for the funds that they have collected. One or the other day they have to pay the dividends, one or the other day they have to pay the interest. So here the capability of the company is judged here. Management of funds. See, once the procurement of funds is done, proper judicious investment of funds is done, now comes the profitability. And when the profitability is achieved by the company now should judiciously allocate these profits, manage these funds for different things. For example, it can give dividends, it can pay taxes, it can pay interest, or it can increase its branches, okay, it can increase the benefits of the workers, it can give the dividends twice a year. It is called management of funds. It comes under financial capability profile of the company. Now, marketing capability. What is the marketing capability of the company need to be judged in this key factor, the second key factor. Product related capabilities, whether the product is qualitative, user friendly, good design, engineering is good. About the price related aspects, pricing is acceptable by all or not, price of the product is acceptable by all or not. Then promotion related, do we have a sufficient promotional campaign, or we require furthermore promotional techniques? Do we have the integrative system of marketing? What is the capability of the company in increasing the customers is judged here in marketing capability. In operations capability, basically the production system, that is product routing, sequencing, scheduling, product planning and development, product designing and operational controls, research and development related to a product, productions is analyzed here in operations capability factor. This is the third one. Fourth one is personnel capability factor. It can be human resource factor. Like, what is the human resource management system we have, and what is the characteristics of an organization, whether it is manufacturing, trading or service, and what is the characteristics of employees, skilled or unskilled, migratory in nature, transferable in nature, what is the industrial relations we have in our company, do we have good industrial relations, do we follow all the ethics laws framed under constitution, do we have congenial industrial relations between employer and employee, employer and employer, employee and employee, department wise. Then the fifth one could be general management. So do we have stable management, do we have the management with vision, do we have the management which thinks of the development of the company day and night. All these key factors are rated here in key factor rating. So in key factor rating there are basically 5 important key factor areas: finance, marketing, HR, operations, general management, functional areas. Now let us discuss the third one, that is management by objectives. See, this system is proposed by Peter F. Drucker. Management by objectives is proposed by Peter F. Drucker. It means what? Continuously evaluating the performance of the organization against the objectives which are already decided. It is nothing but MBO, management by objectives. See, it is nothing but setting up of the objectives, establishment of the objectives, and performing depending upon the objectives. The overall management is done for proper supervision, for proper planning, supervision, control of the objectives already established. What are the various areas which comes in between in order to reach to the planned objectives to the till end? Objectives are planned, objectives are established here. Later on, different activities are divided, segregated, and later on they are executed, planned, executed, supervised and controlled to reach those objectives. Already decided upon objectives. Actually, the concept of MBO follows the acronym SMART while setting the objectives. SMART here is an acronym. While setting an objective in the organization, the people who are in the work of setting up of the objectives should follow SMART technology, should follow SMART strategy. S stands for SMART. The objectives should be SMART. The objectives should be reachable, specific. The objectives should not be ambiguous, it should be clear, specific. We should produce this much, we should sell this much, we should make profit of this much, we should give dividends this much. Specific in terms of percentage, in terms of units, in terms of either qualitative or quantitative aspect, in terms of qualitative or quantitative perspective. Clear cut objective, specific. The objectives should be measurable. M stands for measurable, accountable. If it reaches the goal, no problem. If it reaches what we have decided, no problem. If it has not reached there, we have not reached the target, then again resetting the objective. Attainable, we have to establish the objectives which are attainable, which are reachable. If you make the objectives which are not attainable or which are not reachable, then what is the use of setting up of those objectives? Then R stands for realistic. It should not be imaginary, it should be realistic. Then T stands for time bound. There should be a given time period to complete one objective. So the establishment of objectives needs specific objectives, measurable objectives, attainable objectives, then realistic objectives and time bound objectives. This SMART formula is to be kept in mind while framing the management by objectives. Management by objectives is a new management technique adopted especially in strategic management, wherein objectives are established and the work is done to reach those objectives by dividing the work, segregating the work. Then the last one, comprehensive analysis, is Memorandum of Understanding, MOU. It is an agreement between the people, the enterprise and the government, clearly specifying their commitments and responsibilities. See, there are lots of MOUs done between the government and the enterprises. It is also one of the important technique of comprehensive analysis. Government laid down the rules for different industries in a different way, and the companies need to follow those rules and regulations. By mutually agreeing upon each other's duties and responsibilities, the government and the industries, they do their work. That is called Memorandum of Understanding. Participation of industries in government programs, contributing to government programs, or government asking particular companies for CSR initiatives, corporate social responsibility initiatives, follow some ethical practices which were not followed earlier. Government may give guidelines from time to time. The organizations may accept those guidelines and perform accordingly, and based on that, the government and the enterprise may mutually accept their commitment and responsibilities. Then they start working on their responsibilities and work. So this can also be a type of analysis. Here we will come to know that what is the work given by the government and what we have done, and what is the value of our company in front of the government. See, for licensing, for production, for sales, for distribution of profits, from time to time government give lot of instructions to the companies. If any company produces the products against the whims and fancies, against the rules laid down by the government may issue a notice to them. The companies should have to be under trouble, is answerable, is accountable. The companies cannot do according to their wishes. They should abide by the rules laid down in various acts and laid down in various enactments. GST, where GST is introduced, after that everybody had to receive GSTIN number See, once new acts, new methods, new techniques, new regulations laid down, all the industries, whether they are small or big, they are required to follow the conditions, regulations laid down by the government. And hence it will become an agreement between public enterprise and the government towards their commitment, towards their responsibilities, towards their duties. So dear students, in this session we had a discussion in detail on comprehensive analysis. In comprehensive analysis we have studied balanced scorecard method, where we had 4 important perspectives. Then we had discussed the key factor rating, where we had a discussion on 5 key factors and capabilities. Then we had a discussion on management by objectives, then memorandum of understanding. So at the end of this session I have given you some multiple choice questions. Try to answer them. If you do not answer these questions, you can feel free to call me, and refer the study material also given at the end, and try to collect more information about the same topic and incorporate the same material into your study material, and try to gain more from various online and offline sources available. So in this pandemic situation, please take care, stay home, stay safe, create awareness in your surrounding areas about this pandemic, be safe, and create awareness of safety and cleanliness to others also. Thank you very much for watching the video. We will meet in the next class for the next session. Till then, bye bye.